Conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, what's going on? We're here to talk about Houston's 106-96 loss to the Los Angeles Clippers in Los Angeles, California. With the loss, Houston falls to 29 and 26th. They are currently in the 8th seed for the Western Conference playoffs. They are 3.5 games, I believe, ahead of Los Angeles Lakers for that spot. The Clippers improved to 38 and 27. They are now 21 and 5 at home this season. Now, this is going to be a long video, and I know that H. Quatran was talking to me about long videos last time, and I will get to that in a little bit. But just to, I understand that not everybody has a lot of time to listen to these videos, so I can appreciate what H. Quatran is saying. And other people have brought that up to me before. And I get that. I understand that. And as I said, I'll address that more in a little bit. The short summary of this game, and Jeremy for H. Quatran and others, is Houston was playing a better team, and they were playing without James Harden, and they were playing on the road. And they just didn't have enough. I mean, the Clippers struggled for a bit. For like a 10-game stretch, but that was because Chris Paul wasn't playing. And they got Chauncey Billups back as well. You had both of those guys playing last night. The Clippers were basically at full strength, and they played hard. They wanted to play well, and that's what they did. And Houston is not good enough, particularly without James Harden, to play with the Clippers when the Clippers are playing their best. Jeremy had an okay night. But he struggled some, and that's not really surprising given that the Clippers' defense is top 5, and Chris Paul himself, who was playing against Jeremy, is a phenomenal defender, and he made it hard for Jeremy. So that's the overall summary for the people that don't have a lot of time to watch this, but for the people that do have more time, we're going to go over a lot more of what happened here. Again, James Harden did not play in this game. I believe the game was shown live in China. I think the NBA has been doing a full week of Chinese New Year celebration stuff. That's why you saw the teams in the red warm-ups, I believe, before the game. I think they had red warm-ups on with like a dragon or a snake on it. That's for the Chinese audience. I'm almost sure of that. They mentioned something about that. I didn't hear the whole thing, but I know that it was part of the Chinese New Year celebration week by the NBA. And of course, no coincidence, Jeremy Lin was playing in this game as part of that Chinese New Year rollout by the NBA. The Clippers scored 46 points in the first quarter. Houston only scored 28, and that was pretty much what happened in this game. Houston was down by 18 points at the end of the first quarter. And against a team like the Clippers, that's going to be very difficult to make up. Now, Houston had some runs, but they just couldn't get all the way back. As I alluded to a little bit ago, the Clippers are one of the best teams in the NBA. In my opinion, they're one of the top 4 teams in the league, along with Oklahoma City Thunder, San Antonio Spurs, and the Miami Heat. Those are the top echelon teams, or what I would refer to as elite teams. I think those are the only teams that have a realistic chance of winning the NBA title this year. Now, people could add in the Knicks. That's probably about it. That's probably really the only other team you could add. Maybe some people would say the Chicago Bulls if Derrick Rose comes back. I don't think that's realistic. Derrick Rose is coming off of an ACL tear. You're not going to be the same player within a year or whatever it's been. That just doesn't work that way. So I think those 4 teams, maybe including the Knicks, are title contenders. So Houston was playing one of the best teams at pretty much full strength. And this is what you get, especially when you're playing without James Harden. I actually thought that Houston played pretty, they played hard and they played as well as they could, particularly without Harden. So they didn't give up. What you see, this is the last game for Houston before the All-Star break. And what you will see in the NBA, if you notice some of the scores around the league last night, particularly I'm thinking of the Portland game. I can't remember who they played, Portland versus somebody. It was totally lopsided. It was ridiculous. Portland lost by like 40 points or something. What tends to happen is that in the final game before the All-Star break, a lot of teams, like, they want to start vacation early, and they don't try that hard. Now, I'm not trying to disparage the Portland Trailblazers by saying that, but it happens every single year, and Houston didn't do that, and they could have done that. You're on the road without your best player. We're not doing that well in the first quarter. Let's just give up. But they didn't do that, and so I'm satisfied with this game. I was satisfied because they tried hard and they kept fighting, and that's good. Okay, let's turn to Jeremy. Jeremy played a solid game. He struggled for the second straight game with his shooting, but you're playing an excellent defensive team, and you're the focus of the offense tonight. Pretty much he and Chandler Parsons were the main offensive players tonight, and honestly, Jeremy's more of an offensive focus because he has the ball in his hand. The Clippers knew that. The Clippers understood that, so they were going to make sure that they didn't get a Spurs 38-point Jeremy Linsanity 2.0 special, and they keyed on Jeremy. They focused on him on defense, and it worked. And that's going to happen. And Jeremy's not going to put up 38 points every single time James Harden isn't around. Why is that? Because teams are going to focus on him. And that's what they did. If you watch Linsanity 1.0 last year, Jeremy did amazing early on because teams weren't ready for him. And then they started focusing on him. They started doing scouting reports and defensive strategies designed to stop him. Like that's what the Miami Heat did to him last year. Doubling the pick and roll hard, doubling him when he had the ball. And that's what you'll see. I mean, that's smart, right? You don't want the opposing guy to score 38 points against you, especially when he's a point guard and he's getting other people involved. So the Clippers knew they needed to stop Jeremy Lin, and they focused on that, and they did a pretty good job. Although Jeremy had an okay game, he did. He had a solid game except for his shooting. Jeremy finished with 14 points, 2 boards, 7 assists in 34 minutes, shot 4 of 12 from the field, 1 out of 3 in 3-pointers, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, minus 14 in plus minus, and his efficiency number was 13. Jeremy was outplayed by Chris Paul, who is the starting point guard for the Clippers. Chris Paul had 10 points, 3 boards, 11 assists, and Chris Paul's efficiency number was 19. Still, Jeremy held his own in the matchup. Chris Paul is one of the best, definitely one of the best 7 players in the league, in my opinion. Maybe a top 5. If you are familiar with the statistic player efficiency rating, I believe Chris Paul is the 3rd in the NBA, behind only LeBron James and Kevin Durant. So, I mean, Chris Paul is an awesome basketball player. He's one of the top point guards, if not the top point guard in the league. So Jeremy did fine. And not only is Chris Paul great at running the offense, he's an excellent defender. He's an excellent defender, and he gave Jeremy problems on defense. Jeremy did play well for most of the game, but he did get frustrated at one point in this game, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But again, like some of the other struggles that Jeremy's had, he's going to learn from this. I told you that, when he fouled out the other day, he'd learn from that, and he did quickly. He'll learn from games like this. And so it's never fun to struggle, but that's what you learn from. If you succeed in everything, you don't learn anything because you're like, well, I'll just keep doing what I did. It's when you have hard times, that's when you actually learn stuff. And so it's all right that Jeremy has tough times or tough outings because that's how you get better. Okay, let's go to some quarter-by-quarter highlight stuff. Early in the first quarter, Jeremy hit his only 3-pointer of the game. It was a catch-and-shoot 3-pointer from about 25 degrees from right of the top of the arc. Also early in the first quarter, Jeremy had a phenomenal pass to Patrick Patterson for a huge dunk. Jeremy was on the top right elbow of the lane, that little corner, or a little bit extended from that, and he threw like a no-look pass, side arm to Patrick Patterson streaking on the left-hand side. And, I mean, that was an amazing pass. If you've ever seen highlights of John Stockton, who is the all-time NBA assist leader, that was the type of pass that John Stockton used to throw to Karl Malone. It was amazing. Again, showing the court vision, the passing ability, just great. That's one of the best passes he's thrown all year, in my opinion. Jeremy got 2 personal fouls in the first quarter of this game, and he came out of the game for Patrick Beverley with about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter. At that point, the Clippers were up by 10 points, 30-20. Now, after Jeremy went out of the game, I thought that Houston looked awful. I'm not saying they looked great with him in there because they were down by 10 points, but when he was out of there, they totally fell apart. It's like their offense didn't even know what it was doing. Pretty soon they were down 20 points, and they ended the first quarter down 18 points. So, unfortunately, that's kind of your ball game right there. Now, did Coach McHale take him out because of the 2 fouls? Did he just take him out because that's normally when he takes him out? I don't know. I'm not sure what the decision-making process was there. He probably just took him out because that's the normal rotation, although I'm not sure. I don't remember if he took him out right after he got his second foul. I'd have to go back and look at that. Okay, early in the second quarter, Jeremy came back in the game with 9:15 left in the second quarter. At that point, the Rockets were down 16 points. There was a weird play in the middle of the second quarter with 5 minutes and 12 seconds left approximately. Jeremy was coming up the right-hand side of the court, going from the back court to the front court, right over the half-court line. He got bumped by Blake Griffin, I believe. And then Ryan Hollins, kicked at Jeremy. It's like, I don't know, it was weird. It was like he kicked, I think he was trying to kick the ball. Like it was almost like a reflex, like you kick a soccer ball. But it was a weird play, and it didn't look that good on TV. And Ryan Hollins got a flagrant foul for that. And it was just weird. But the thing is, Ryan Hollins went right up to Jeremy and was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. He wasn't trying to do anything, but it didn't look good. He was like, whoa, are you trying to kick him? What are you doing? But I honestly believe that Ryan Hollins was just kicking at the ball, like in a reflex type of a way. So that was different. That was kind of weird. In the middle of the second quarter as well, after DeAndre Jordan got a dunk, I believe, Jeremy got a really nice layup right down the middle of the lane in a fast break, even though it was after a made basket. Like I said, Houston likes to do that. They like to push the pace even after you make it. Now, if you watch this play, I honestly believe that Jeremy thought about dunking that ball. I know I've done plays like that where you jump really, really hard and really, really well, and you have to make a decision. Am I high enough where I can dunk this? And I honestly believe that he was thinking about dunking it. And if he would have dunked that, that would have been just insane because he took off from pretty far away. So if you can find that play, it's sometime between 5 minutes left and 3 minutes left in the second quarter. And it's a scoop layup, and he got some serious air on that jump. So it's pretty cool to see that. I made a note at this point in the game that the Clippers are just great on defense, and Chris Paul is great on defense. Jeremy was having trouble. Just being able to do what he wanted to do because of their defense. Late in the second quarter, Jeremy had another phenomenal pass to Chandler Parsons for a dunk. I can't remember it exactly because I'm confusing it with the Patrick Patterson pass, but it was another elite level passing play. There was 2:39 left in the second quarter, and that dunk made the score 58-47 for the Clippers. So you can look for that play. I can't remember I can't remember the pass right now. I'd have to look at the highlights, but I know it was an amazing pass. It was another one like the other one before. 2 elite, incredible highlight play passes by Jeremy in this game, and that was the second one. Also, Jeremy was clearly the team leader in this game. Now, I know Chandler Parsons tried to help him out at different times, and Chandler looks for Jeremy a lot. It's kind of like, I don't know, if you know, it's just those two like each other. And so I know Chandler will look for Jeremy on offense a lot. And if Jeremy passes the ball to Chandler, he'll try to shoot it so he can get Jeremy an assist. He's trying to help Jeremy out. You can tell that if you understand what you're seeing. And Chandler did try to help shoulder the offensive load in this game, but Jeremy was definitely leading the team. And that's almost always going to be the case whenever James Harden is out. So that was good to see. Jeremy, we've talked about this before, and it's a fine line. Jeremy was drifting too far on his help defense tonight. We've talked about this. You play a man, you're on the perimeter if you're a guard, and then the guy in the low post, the opponent gets the ball, and you want to go down and double team him, harass him. Jeremy's great at that. But you got to be careful with that, because if you go down too far and too close, your man's wide open. And Jeremy was doing that a little too much tonight, and he got burned a couple times by doing it. So I noticed that as well. And if you do that, if you drift off your man, and the guy that's your primary defender, the guy in the perimeter that you're guarding, if he sees that, a lot of times what the guy will do is he'll cut to the basket, and you'll lose him. You'll lose your man, is the way that it's referred to. Jeremy had that happen a couple times in this game. And part of that has to do with how good the Clippers are and how smart people like Chris Paul are. Once they see that, they're going to exploit it. So that's something Jeremy needs to continue to work on. Personally, I would like to see him help a little bit less, because there are times when it works great. We've seen that in different games where he's just, I think it was against Charlotte or one of the teams. He totally screwed up their offense because of his helping. But you have to be careful. There are teams you can do it against. There are teams you can't do it against, and you can't really do it against the Clippers. Jeremy late in the second as well. He had his second turnover of the game, I believed. Chris Paul was all over him, and he made a bad pass, and it ended up into a DeAndre Jordan alley-oop dunk at the other end of the floor, and the Clippers went up by 20 points with just 1 minute left in the first half. And look, the Clippers, the way they play, Lob City, Blake Griffin super dunks, DeAndre Jordan super dunks, it's easy to get frustrated against them. If you're a basketball player, particularly if you're a guy, just because guys do most of the dunking. There's some women that can dunk in games too, and the Brittany Greer and another, but mostly dunking happens with men. If you play basketball, then dunking and stuff is a way to kind of, show that you're greater than your opponent and kind of rub it in and stuff. That's what the Clippers do. And they have if I could, if I was playing and I could do that, I'd do the same thing, because, it kind of demoralizes your opponent. That's what you want to do. But if you're playing against them, it's very easy to get frustrated because they do it. It's like a highlight reel, and you guys get sick of that. That's one of the reasons why Blake Griffin gets fouled so hard and so much, is because guys don't want to get dunked on. They just get tired of it. So it's easy to get frustrated against the Clippers. And that's where you have to be disciplined. And I'm mentioning this because, again, Jeremy got frustrated in this game in the third quarter, and it's probably because of this. The Clippers are rocking and rolling, and they're dunking and lobbing and all that stuff. You have to manage that. Dunk's still only 2 points, same way that a layup is. You can't get all frustrated and flustered. But I can tell you, from playing a lot of competitive basketball and just playing a lot of pickup basketball, it's easy to get frustrated when guys are dunking and whatever, and you're not, and your team's getting beat. So I understand that it's a natural tendency, but you have to control that. Now, late in the second quarter, right before the half, Kevin McHale made a mistake. And we talk about Kevin McHale and coaching, and I'll defend him. And he made a big mistake here. And fortunately, it didn't come back to haunt them. With about 10 seconds or 5 seconds left in the quarter, left in the half, you saw what Chris Paul did. He posted up Jeremy and did that little rip-through move, which is where you swing around with your arms swinging so that you'll get a foul. The reason why McHale screwed up there is because he should have taken Jeremy out of the game, because he had 2 fouls and you didn't want him to get that third foul. Because, again, the Clippers, the person they were most concerned about was Jeremy Lin. You have 2 fouls, get him out of there. Don't let him pick up a third foul with 5 seconds left in the half. And the thing that really made me mad about it was that McHale had just substituted in Patrick Beverley for somebody else. I thought he was bringing in Beverley for Jeremy so that Jeremy wouldn't get his third foul. And then you see Chris Paul get the foul, and I'm like, oh, man, that was a stupid play. Now, it's always easy to say it was stupid looking backwards. After the foul, man, that was dumb. But I remember sitting there when Beverley came out. Beverley was coming in. I'm like, okay, cool. McHale's taking Jeremy out so he doesn't get a third foul. No, he didn't. Chris Paul, smart. Chris Paul is as smart a player as there is in the NBA in terms of basketball IQ. What did he do? He went right to it, saw that Kevin McHale wasn't getting him out. Good. I'm going to pick up another foul on him. That's exactly what happened. Fortunately, Jeremy didn't have foul trouble in this game. But if he did have foul trouble, I'm telling you right now, Kevin McHale would have gotten crushed for not taking him out of the game at that point. That wasn't a good decision, and I'm sure Kevin McHale knows that. Okay, Jeremy started the third quarter. Early in the third, Jeremy missed a driving layup attempt, and it was against DeAndre Jordan, who is a phenomenal shot blocker. But what I noticed on that, though, Jeremy almost hit the shot. And again, DeAndre Jordan is the secondary defender, meaning Jeremy already beat his own defender. And so then you have to beat the second defender. And if you can beat the second defender, you score. Jeremy almost beat him, and he really hung up in the air a long time. Jeremy did. Meaning Jeremy's explosiveness and jumping ability is getting better, which means the knee is getting better, the knee is getting stronger. That's one of the things I really noticed in this game. Jeremy was jumping great in this game. I told you, where he had that scoop layup where I thought he was going to dunk it. His full explosion in jumping is starting to come back. It's starting to come back, and that's good. I don't know if, I can't tell you what percentage it is. Like he's 90% of the jumper he was before the thing. I'm not sure if he's quite at the level he was during Lancini 1.0, but he's pretty close. That dunk he had in the game the other day against Francisco Garcia against the Kings, that was a nice dunk. I mean, that takes some good explosion to do it at Jeremy's size. So if I had to guess, I would say he's at least 90% of the jumper he was before the knee injury. So that's good. Hopefully jumping is something you can improve. It is. Now, you can only improve it so much, but it is improvable. And so it's, good. The way that you primarily improve jumping is by doing weight training, squats, doing the plyometric exercises, which you'll see guys, you jump off a box and then you hit the ground, then you jump up again. That's plyometrics. I think Jeremy might have done some of that this summer, perhaps. And you'll see guys wearing special shoes with they're pushed up on the front of the sole. In other words, they'll have an elevation at the front of the sole so that it stretches out your Achilles tendon more. Your Achilles tendon is what controls your calf muscle. So if you can kind of elongate that and stretch it out more, you can jump higher. So look, I mean, it's something Jeremy can keep working on. But the first thing before anything else is get your full jumping ability back from the knee injury. And tonight it looked like he looked very good in that regard. So it's very good to see. Okay, here's where Jeremy got frustrated. In the middle of the third quarter, with 3:45, actually late in the, in the middle of the third quarter, I don't remember exactly how much time was left in the game. Maybe in the third period, maybe, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Jeremy threw, he threw one of his half-court, full-court passes, but it was way off. And it was clearly done out of frustration. He was just getting mad. The team was getting beat. They were doing a good job against him individually, and he got frustrated. And the pass was way off. Now, he's done this before. I've seen Jeremy do this a number of times before. And it's when he's frustrated, when he's mad, and it's not uncommon for a young player to do this, but you don't want to do that. And pretty soon after that, McHale took him out of the game. McHale took him out of the game with 3:45 left in the third, and the Clippers were up 83-63. Look, not only do I not have a problem with McHale taking him out then, he should take him out then. Something that's really important for Jeremy's fans to understand. And we talk about Coach McHale, and he's old school, and he's tough. I'm going to tell you right now, Jeremy is going to become a better player long-term because McHale is tough on him. In the NBA today, and look, I've been watching the NBA for 30 years, and I've seen it change and evolve. It used to be everybody was a tough coach, or almost everybody. Now, nobody's a tough coach, it seems like. And the reason why that is because the players make more money now and the players have more power now. And that's great. I mean, I'm all for player power. What happens is that the players are running the show. Joyce Ward mentioned this, I think, in the Golden State video. Inmates are running the asylum. That's an English phrase meaning, the students are running the classroom and not the teacher. I mean, that's an analogy. It's like, and right now in the NBA a lot, in my opinion, the players run the show, which means the coaches don't have any power. You can't learn like that. I'll give you a great example of this. In 2010-2011 season, when the Big Three formed in Miami, when it wasn't going well to start the year, when it was 9-8, and it was like, oh man, this isn't working. One of the things that happened was that there were a lot of calls that Eric Spoelstra, the head coach, should be fired. And I like LeBron James, but this is the honest truth, and I know this because I know how the media works. Somebody from LeBron James's team, his own entourage, put out a thing trying to make Spoelstra look bad. In other words, they were trying to get Spoelstra fired. That's what it appeared to me as, anyway. And that's what I'm talking about. The players can do that. Powerful players can do that to a coach. What happens is, what ended up happening with Miami is, they went to the finals. The next year they won the championship, and now LeBron James and his team love Eric Spoelstra. But if they would have gotten rid of Eric Spoelstra, maybe you don't win a finals. So that's where sometimes the players and their associates too much power. This happened with Jerry Sloan and Darren Williams in Utah. A lot of people felt that Darren Williams got Jerry Sloan fired. That wouldn't have happened 10, 15 years ago in the NBA. And I don't think that's a good thing. And so bringing this back to Jeremy, McHale is tough, but that's how you learn. That's how you actually develop habits that you should have. And so it might not be great, and it's like, keep him in there, whatever. Well, if you keep him in there after he does something not good, what is he going to learn? Not going to learn anything. And so it's easy to look around and, this coach would have kept him in. Yeah, they might have kept him in. And you know what? Jeremy's not going to learn from that. And that's why you get some of these players that have bad habits later in their careers. Why? Because no coach stood up to them. No coach was tough enough to rein them in. And sometimes you need that. And again, the problem, if the players are running the show, then none of them, if they don't like you as a coach, you're gone, even if that coach is helping you. So I'm happy. Again, I've said I don't think McHale's the greatest coach in the world in terms of X's and O's and all that stuff, but I'm glad that Jeremy's playing for him because he's going to learn the right things to do. And there are a lot of coaches in the NBA, I guarantee you, that wouldn't do that with Jeremy. That wouldn't take him out if he made a mistake. And that's going to help Jeremy. The same way that if you have kids, right? You have kids. If you let your kids eat sugars all day, is that helping them? No. You need to, tell them, no, you can't eat this because it's going to ruin your teeth. And so you have to set boundaries. And that's what McHale's doing with Jeremy. Now, I'm not saying he's pretty hard on Jeremy. And we could say he's harder on Jeremy than he is on James Harden and others. He is harder. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Part of that is because Harden is more established and more proven. And a big part of it, and this is important, a big part of it is because Jeremy is the point guard. Jeremy runs the offense. If Jeremy doesn't do what's right, the whole offense will fall apart. So Jeremy has to be more disciplined than the rest of the guys. I think McHale understands that. So that's another perspective you can take on the situation when you see Jeremy getting pulled out of the game for a mistake like he made here in the third quarter. Yeah, if you ever watch, you watch old Asian kung fu movies or whatever, the master's really hard on the student at first. You got to carry the water and you got to do this and you got to do. That's because they're trying to discipline them. They're trying to, not to punish them. I don't mean discipline in that way. They're trying to teach them discipline. You need to be disciplined to be a martial arts expert. You have to learn discipline. I think that's part of what McHale is doing with Jeremy. And I assure you, it will pay off for Jeremy, even if it doesn't look that great right now. And Jeremy doesn't like it, and the fans don't like it. You wait a year or two, Jeremy will move ahead of other point guards that weren't treated that way, that were treated like with, kid gloves, that were treated like they're running the show and the coach isn't. Those guys will fall behind Jeremy, and Jeremy will get ahead of them. So I'm happy. I'm happy that McHale took him out at that time because that was the right message to send. Okay, back to the game. Jeremy started the fourth quarter. Early in the fourth quarter, he had a great steal against Matt Barnes. Really nice steal. Matt Barnes, Jeremy was playing shooting guard. Beverly was at point guard. Matt Barnes is playing shooting guard, even though usually he plays small forward. Matt Barnes, very tough-minded guy. He's extremely athletic. He's a lot bigger than Jeremy in terms of height. And he was really getting into Jeremy on defense. I mean, he was really trying to, get after Jeremy. And Jeremy did a good job. And Jeremy got a little payback with that steal there. Jeremy, early in the fourth, also had a nice assist to Donatas Motiejunas. Motiejunas played great in this game. I have never really seen him play a lot, and I know people have asked me about him in the comments. Hey, what do you think about? Oh man, after watching him last night, that guy is going to be a serious player. A serious player. You know who he reminded me of last night? Honestly, Kevin Garnett. Now, I'm not saying he's that good or he'll ever be that good, but that's who he reminded me of. Long, tall, athletic, skilled. Motiejunas is going to be a serious player. Serious player. What he needs now is, and he's going to help with Rockets. Oh, man. I mean, we talk, okay, we don't have a power forward. Yeah, we do. He's just not ready yet. He's not big enough yet physically. He's not his muscles. He needs to get bigger in terms of his bulk. And he just needs time. He just needs time to learn the NBA. This guy has serious talent. Real talent. I was amazed at how good he looked. And I'll tell you something. The Clippers couldn't stop him. The Clippers could not stop Donatas Motiejunas. They couldn't. They were like, man, they couldn't do anything. The Rockets are going to be so good. If Royce White can pan out and Motiejunas can just develop and not get hurt and whatever, oh, man, this team is going to be a serious contender in a couple years. A serious contender. So, man, I was really happy with the way Motiejunas played. Barnes burned Jeremy a couple times, I think, in this quarter with, again, Jeremy overhelped on defense. Matt Barnes, his man, just sat out there, got the ball, and hit a three-pointer. So I said, you have to learn who you can and can't do that against. And look, Jeremy will learn that. I mean, you don't learn that until you do it. Some teams you can do it against. If you're playing Utah and Jamal Tinsley, their point guard, behind Mo Williams, but he's playing now because Mo Williams is hurt. If Jamal Tinsley is out on the three-point line, I'm not worried about that because he's not that good a shooter. If Matt Barnes is out there and he's in a groove, I'm worried about that, and I'm not going to help on a big man on defense. So Jeremy had a half-court pass in the middle of the fourth quarter to Marcus Morris for a layup. Great. Of course, he makes those passes all the time, as we know. When I noticed in the middle of this fourth quarter, and I made a note about it, I noticed it earlier in the game as well. This is one of the only times all year, at least since early in the year, where Jeremy's getting his dribble challenged. Again, we don't see this a lot anymore because Jeremy's improved his ball handling so much. Saw it a little bit in the Miami game, little bit. Not much, but a little bit, just because they were double-teaming him and stuff. But Chris Paul is so good on defense. He leads the league in steals. It was giving Jeremy problems. And then they were double-teaming him and stuff, and it's one of the only times all year I've seen, he needs to continue to work on his ball handling even a little bit more. And he will. He will. Like I said, it's good you go against tough competition in teams because that's how you get better. I had another note about Motiejunas. He's quick and he's fast. Quick means quickness, like moving left to right. Fast is speed, straight ahead speed. He's both of those. And he has skills. He is going to be, as long as he stays healthy and his body can handle 15 to 20 more pounds of muscle. Some guys' bodies can't handle that. Chris Bosh has had trouble putting on bulk. If he can do both of those things, he is going to be a tremendous player in the NBA. And thank goodness Houston has him. Okay, just wrapping up the quarter by quarter. Jeremy was taken out of the game with about 2 minutes left, and the game was over. It was a blowout. And that's how Jeremy ended his night. Okay, quick summary about Jeremy in this game. He was clearly the leader of the team, although Chandler tried to help him out at times on offense. Houston looked awful without Jeremy in this game, just terrible. I mean, again, we saw this in the was it the Charlotte? No, I can't remember the game right now where he fouled out. When he was out of that game, they looked awful, and that's what it looked like tonight. Jeremy had the two amazing passes that were totally elite. I mean, those are just highlight reel, great point guard passes. Jeremy has to be careful about his roaming around on defense. As I said, Jeremy did have his dribble challenge at times in this game. So just keep working on that. Keep working on your ball handling, which it's improved phenomenally. And Jeremy did have that third quarter turnover where McHale, I think, was right in taking him out. The tough love is going to pay off for him. In a year or two, just watch him compared to guys that didn't come from coaches that were tough. Okay, the overall summary of the game. Look, it was a tough game without James Harden around against an elite team at full strength. And on the road, this is going to happen. You're not going to win every single game. That's why it's great that they beat the Warriors. Again, incredibly impressed with Donatas Motiejunas. He looked great. I didn't realize how good he was. Jeremy played relatively well. He played pretty well against a team that was looking to stop him. He was the main focus. And finally, Houston played hard. They didn't take vacation early like some other teams may have done, including the Portland Trail Blazers yesterday. So that was good to see. All right, let's get to comments and questions. First, I'm sorry this video was late. This was a late game in the United States. It ended at about 1 a.m. and I just fell asleep. That won't happen very often, but I was just out of it. And then I started working on this earlier this morning, and then JDV called me, and that took a while. So this video got like delayed. Sorry about that. However, I will always do a video after every game. Even if the video comes late, you know to look for it the next day because I will do a video. So unless I come in and do a video and saying I'm not going to do a video for a certain game, then you can always look for the video, even if you have to wait, 8, 12 hours to get it, you'll still get it. Okay, H Quatran 23. Let's talk about the long videos. Well, the reason why I do the long videos, one, I like talking about Jeremy Lin basketball. It's just something I love. I have a passion for it, and I like it. But, I was thinking about this. One of the things that I'm doing or trying to do in these videos is teach new basketball fans about the game. And that takes a while. I have to describe things like, what was I doing in the last game? The hesitation dribble. If I was talking with NBA scouts, then I could just say anything I wanted and they'd understand everything I was saying. But you have to remember, a lot of the people that watch these videos, and we know this, I can see in terms of where people watch these videos from, are Jeremy Lin fans, which means a lot of them might not have watched the NBA before. They might not know about the NBA. And so trying to help teach them about basketball. Look, if I watched a video about cricket, then I'd want somebody to tell me the rules because I don't know the rules in cricket. I don't know anything. And so I'm not trying to treat the viewers with disrespect, but I know a lot of the viewers are new basketball fans, and they're watching because they like Jeremy, and they want to follow Jeremy and support Jeremy. But that doesn't mean they know the game. And so I take more time to lay things out. I'll describe different things or plays and what it means just to try to help those people out. And so that takes time. That makes the video longer. And I understand that. Look, as I said earlier in the video, not everybody has 50 minutes to watch a video. I definitely understand that. And the one thing I will say, though, is that if you don't have a lot of time and you still want to watch the video or you still want to hear the analysis about Jeremy, the good thing is that every single one of these videos has the same structure. Meaning you can probably fast forward to where you want to go to. I start with an overall game summary. Then I talk about Jeremy Lin. I go through, it's overall, and then I go through quarter by quarter. Then I do an overall video summary. This is what we saw in the game with Houston and Jeremy. Then I do comments and question responses. Then I talk about the next game, and then I do the video wrap up and often the time in Taipei, Taiwan. So if you don't have a lot of time, but you are interested in one of those aspects of the video, hopefully that will help you to fast forward to that part so you don't have to listen to what you don't want to listen to and take time, but you can get to what you want. I do believe and have heard from many people, as you saw in the comments, and I'll say something about this, a lot of people like the longer videos. I can tell you for my own self, sometimes I'll put on a long video from YouTube when I'm doing something else, just so I have something to listen to. It's like it's a distraction. And I know Lin Amos mentioned that, the last video about Golden State. Well, now, cool. Now his commute to work, he's got something to do. And that's good. I think a lot of people enjoy it for that reason. And I think a lot of people enjoy it because they want to hear everything they can possibly hear about Jeremy Lin. And that's part of why I do it, because there's a demand for that. And I like Jeremy and I like basketball. So I can help do that and meet that demand. So that's sometimes why the videos are longer. A lot of them are longer. They used to be a lot shorter. But then I just, there's more to talk about. And I think a lot of people, hopefully, they appreciate that. And I know they do because they've said so. But I understand where you're coming from. I understand. Look, not everybody's got a lot of time to listen to videos. So hopefully, if you want to go to a certain part of the video, you can do that. Mei Chu Chen, glad that you like the interaction that I do with the commenters. Look, that's what it's all about. I'm not here to talk to myself. I mean, I can do that. I don't have to make a video for that. I want to share what I know about the game, what I see in analyzing Jeremy. And honestly, the most fun thing is to talk with people and talk with commenters and stuff. So I really appreciate the interaction. I mean, that's what I want too. I think that's what other people want, and I want it as well because it makes it a lot more fun for me. So thanks. 4-star KT, I agree with you, unfortunately, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I do think Mr. Sammy Lee might be a Lin hater, or Lin-only hater, however you want to describe it. Hopefully he isn't, but did kind of get that sense in the comments in the Golden State video number 50, game 54. Misproof, I'm not going to shorten the videos, and like I said, I make them long for a reason. Sometimes they are shorter. If Jeremy, in the one game where Jeremy fouled out, well, there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, if he played 2 minutes in the fourth quarter and maybe, 5 minutes in the third quarter and Houston got crushed, well, that's going to be a shorter video, probably. So, but when there's a lot to talk about, then I'll make them longer. It just depends on what happens in the game. And it depends on what needs to be explained. Like I said, in the Golden State game, Jeremy was using different types of moves. And so I have to explain that to people that don't watch basketball regularly. And that takes longer. And hopefully, like I said, you guys, I want you guys to learn about basketball so that you can understand what you're seeing. And then, time will come where you guys are pointing out stuff to me. Just like the way you guys pointed out to me the other day that Jeremy's dunk started after a block shot, not a rebound. Look, I just want to say, I appreciate the support for the videos in general and the video length. And I'll say just specific thanks to Misproof, Lenamos, Haven HT, Jack's Cool, Guinness Genius. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It might be Guinness Genius. Mr. Hoon Varaya, and others. Look, I think this week I got a fun thing going on here. I love doing these videos. Hopefully you guys like them, and I know that you do like them. And this is it. This is cool. I mean, I'm glad that we can do this, and I'm just going to keep on doing it and keep enjoying watching Jeremy and talking about what he's doing. Mr. Round Eye, thanks for the info on Royce White's D-League game. I really appreciate that. It helps me and the other commenters and viewers when people give information that I don't have. I didn't get to watch that game, so I'm glad that somebody who did see it commented about it. In the same way, Joyce Ward mentioned in the Golden State video, she talked about what somebody who went to the game saw at the game, and that's great. She said the more information, the better, and I really appreciate that, so thanks, guys, for giving that information. Hulk Hogan Body Slam. It would have been great to see another Spurs game for Jeremy against the Clippers, but they just shut them down. The Clippers are good, and they were ready. Joyce Ward, thanks again for all of your great comments, and I totally agree with what you said about Jeremy Lin is playing against a stereotype of Asian ballers. Look, there's reality to that, in my opinion. And look, Jeremy's talked about that. So I'm not saying anything. You're not saying anything that Jeremy hasn't said himself. which, he's talked about this at length. I got to keep proving myself. People maybe they don't think he's that good, blah, 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 blah. So you can see by a number of people uprating your comment, thumbs up, that, a lot of people agree with that. And that's part of why I think Jeremy's so important, is he's breaking the stereotype. And that's always a good thing in anything, whether it's, whatever field it is. It's never, in my opinion, it's not a good thing that, this group of people, that group of people can't do that. Why? Why can't they do it? And so I think that Jeremy's helping to break that. And as it concerns the NBA and basketball. And that's great. That's awesome. I think that is great. And we support that pretty much, anybody doing anything. Jesse Owens ran the Olympics, and, it was World War II, I think, or the rise of, what was going on in Germany. Well, he showed everybody what he could do and what people of different backgrounds could do. And that's amazing. I love that. And, Jackie Robinson and baseball and every other thing. And we support that. I think stereotypes are, they're meant to be broken, I guess, is maybe the way that I think about it. So that's a good comment by you. Rita Wu, thanks for all the support on the videos. We love Jeremy, and we love Taiwan. As I've mentioned before, my mother has visited Taiwan, and she loved it. This was, 20 years ago, and she really enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm happy to mention Taipei in the videos. Look, I know basketball is popular in Taipei and in Taiwan in general. One of the reasons why I know it is because when Jeremy went there this past summer and he filmed that video with David Lee, like a late night in Taiwan or whatever. And I think that's where he had the little cat stuffed animal head on his thing where he was sneaking around. He went out to play. You could see, there were people playing in the middle of the night in the lit basketball courts. So, there were a lot of people out there. Now, more people came out to see Jeremy once they knew he was there, but there were already a lot of people out there. That, to me, shows, these people like basketball. You're playing in the middle of the night, and you must like it a lot. So, look, my understanding is that all of Asia, or much of Asia, loves basketball. And I can see examples of that all the time. I can see that it's getting more popular in various little ways. And I'm sure that that's the case in Taiwan as it is in the Philippines, as it is in China, as it is in other places around Asia. That's great, man. Like I said, as a basketball fan myself, I'm happy to see that. So that's great. By the way, right now, as I am making this video, it is about 11:13 p.m. on Thursday, February 14th in Taipei, Taiwan. Here in the United States, and I don't know if you guys celebrate it, probably not, in Taiwan is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is like a romantic holiday. It's like, you and your Valentine, the person that you love, and it's so that's fun. That's it's probably an American holiday, but I'm not really sure about that. Diana from Hong Kong, I think it'd be great if Jeremy learned Chinese Kung Fu. That just gave me a chuckle when you mentioned that. It's great. We could have Jeremy basically become Bruce Lee. That'd be amazing, man. Nobody would mess with him. And like you said, it makes you more resistant to injury, makes you tougher. So that would be phenomenal. That was great. I love that you said that. And thanks for watching the videos and your nice comments. Mr. Villarreal, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that right. I haven't studied your name enough to pronounce it properly. Villarreal. Thanks for the kind words. Appreciate you are saying them, and I'm glad that you like the videos. I enjoy making them. Surpreet Singh Ball, welcome aboard the J-Lin party train, my friend. Woo! Look, we're having fun. We're talking hoops. We're talking J-Lin, Jeremy Lin, Lansani 2.0. And I love India, man. I love India. We love India. A lot of my good friends when I was in college were from India. And that's awesome, man. It's good to have India represented here in the comments and watching the videos. I don't know how big basketball is in India, but obviously you like it. So I'm sure in a country as large as India is, I'm sure there's plenty of people there that like basketball in the NBA. One of my just a quick college story. When I went back to finish up, I took time. Like, it took me a while to finish college. I took time off. When I went back, there was a man that was down on his luck, just having a hard time. He was from India, I believe. No, he was from India. And his name was Manjit Singh. And he stayed with me for a long time, for a while, just so I could help him out. And he had great stories, man. I remembered him because of your name, the Singh name. And I believe Singh is a Sikh name, if I remember correctly, him telling me that. And he had all kinds of stories, man. This guy, he was in the Indian military, and he had served time in Punjab, the conflict there. And he was great, man. He always would say about himself, his American name, or his nickname in America was Tony. And Tony would always say, he's always say, he's a tiger. I'm a tiger. I'm Tiger. Tiger Singh. And it just great. He was a great guy. Just seeing you and seeing your name reminded me of him. Good memories. Jose 3354. Glad you enjoy the long videos. I think a lot of people feel that same way. And as I said to you, I'm the same way as you are. I just kind of put on the long videos and I just relax, chill out. Maybe I'll do something else while I'm listening to it. It's just nice to kind of have it there to listen to. I told JDV that you missed his videos. He will be back. He'll be around. Don't worry about that. He knows that you and others want him to chime in on J-Lin and other topics. Jack's cool. I'm happy to mention your name. Thanks for the props, man. Look, I love sharing what I know about basketball. Basketball has been one of the core parts of my life from a child to an adult. I love it. I've studied it. I've written about it. I've done a little bit of coaching of it. I've played it, both unorganized and organized. And I just love it. I don't have the same affinity for a lot of sports that I used to. I'm 41 now. It's just not the same thing. You get a little older. It's not quite as, it's not the same deal. I don't like the NFL as much as I used to, but I still love basketball. Basketball, I'll probably always enjoy. It's just something that I just love. Quack, why lie? I'm glad that you mentioned to me, hey man, get the video up. That's good. That's what we want to see. Want people, just like I said, Mikhail being tough on J-Lin. People can get on me when the videos aren't up. That's what we want to see. That people want, I'm glad people like the videos and want to see them. Third Rail, I'm glad I got your name right, and I'm happy to explain myself on the Taipei time thing and why I do it like that and why I mentioned the Taipei time. I actually thought I mentioned the time in Taipei in the Golden State video, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I didn't. You might be right about that. Chuki 42028. I do think J-Lin could realistically average like 15 points and 7 assists next year. I do believe that is definitely doable. Definitely doable. And yeah, he probably does have a shot at making an all-star game next year. I would say definitely he'll have a shot in 2 years. I definitely feel that he's going to be able to improve enough to have a good shot in 2 years. And maybe next year as well. We will see. So I agree with you on what you said there. Now, if you notice, this part of the video, this comments part, is a long part. I don't know exactly how many minutes because I'm not paying attention right now, but it's getting longer. And it's good. I like interacting with people. And what I might do soon, I just might start making comment videos. I mentioned that a long time ago that I was going to do that. I just hadn't had the opportunity to do that. but I might start doing that. Maybe something I can do with that is do that on days when Houston's not playing. So it can be like an off day thing or something like that. And that way, that would help people that do want shorter videos or whatever. They can just get the video that's strictly about the game. Although a lot of what we talk about applies to Jeremy and maybe the previous game. Okay, the next game for Houston is next Wednesday. Now is the All-Star game break. So that's good. Because again, the guys need a rest. Their legs are tired. Mentally, they're fatigued as well. Next game is against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is in Houston on Wednesday, February 20th here in the U.S. It'll be early Thursday, February 21st in Asia. As I said, that's going to be a tough game, as we know. Oklahoma City's, they're a great team. They're an elite team. They're only 7-5 in their last 12 games. And I'm sure they're going to want to come out of the All-Star break firing on all cylinders. So that's going to be a difficult game. But I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a good test of where Houston is. And I'm sure the guys will be ready too on the team. Now, before that, during this All-Star weekend, Jeremy is participating in an event called the Skills Challenge. I think that's like passing and shooting. I can't remember. But he is going to participate. That will take place on Saturday night here in the United States. What day is that? Let me look that up really quickly. Hang on. That is the 16th here in the USA, which means it'll take place, I believe, pretty early in the morning on February 17th, Sunday in Asia. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in the video description that has more information about that. So you can on Saturday, there's a whole bunch of events. They have the skills challenge. I think they have the 3-point shootout, and I think they have the dunk contest, and they have one other thing. So I believe the skills challenge is the second event of the night, but you can look at that link and you can see who's going to be in the skills challenge and try to get a sense of what time it'll be at and such. So if you want to see Jeremy in that, you can. Okay, that's it for this video. Your comments below, thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. We'll give you the full information, video highlights, game stories, and the box score for the game against the Clippers in the video description below the video player. You'll also find information about how you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group. I am Paul at Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. I hope everybody's having a great day or great night wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. I'm happy that Houston is heading to the All-Star break. They're currently in a playoff position. They're above 500. They're playing well. Just hope James Harden gets healthy. And look, I like where things are at. This team is overachieving. They're doing better than people thought they were going to do. Now in the second half, we just have to make sure that Houston secures a playoff spot and Jeremy stays healthy and things keep moving forward. That's all for now. Talk to you guys again soon.